Welcome to the video. I hope you're here to talk about water because that's all we're talking about. Specifically, we're going to be talking about how do you store, make, transport, pump water when you're nowhere near water. So my base is in the middle of the mountains and there is no water. So this will all be done from a dew collector. So let me explain. We have dew collectors feeding dew collectors that we're going to feed into a water storage. This is to make sure that there's a bunch of water readily available. This setup is happening because unlike electricity where you can turn 1 into 3 and 3 into 1, in water you can only turn 1 into 3. You cannot combine 3 into 1 line. Our first tip today is going to be the water pump. You should be using the water pump. The water pump is going to boost your pressure using electricity above the stagnant water pressure. Now, what is the stagnant water pressure? Let's explain. So the amount of water pressure it's going to generate depends on the amount of water in the storage. So a dew collector generates about 6.1 water pressure, which is not a lot. And then the water pump takes it up to about 480, so significantly better. So you really have two options. You can either use electricity and have a very efficient system, or you can do what is the lesser option and utilize gravity by placing all your stuff on a high structure. And if you didn't know, that's why water towers exist. So take a moment and learn from me. This is a cutaway from me during my testing phase of the day. I've ran it through a little bit quicker just to get through it. So you can see that we have water pressure down at the bottom, but I'm not getting any water pressure up here. I'm getting zero water intake whenever I attach it, and it's just not working, and I can't figure out why. And it's because I didn't have a pump. I forgot that pumps existed, and I spent like 2 hours trying to do this. What I'm trying to say is water doesn't flow uphill. If you did watch my electricity tips and tricks video, then you'll recognize that right here I'm using one of those leftover connectors because I left every single light with the second connection unused. So we got power, it's connected, it's flowing. We can actually see now that we have our first little water in there. But just know that the initial setup does take time. So you can speed this up if you want to. You can manually come in here with your hands, grab all the water from the dew collectors, go put it in there. And all that's going to do is just make the first, 30 or 40 minutes a little bit faster because you're going to skip the waiting stage for all this to flow in there. All right, guys, now we're going to talk about moving it from this storage to where you want it. And I will be honest, everything from here on out is going to be in part an alteration of what we've already showed you. So if you have been watching, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button. And if you want to keep watching to learn a little bit more and just get a little bit more knowledge, just keep following along as we're going to talk about this. All right, so we need electricity, so I'm going to be running electricity from our other item that's already has power. So now it has power, and there's water, and it's going everywhere. Good Lord, stop it, please. I just spent so much effort trying to get you to work. Water disappears much faster than it appears. We just lost about 4 water right there. So right here, I'm going to be showing you little tips and tricks. So once again, I want this to be nice and easy. So watch this. I'm actually going to put the cable under it. And then it's going to go under the ground through all here, and then it's going to come under the concrete, under the base, then next to the wall, and to where I want it to go. So the entire reason that I'm doing this is so there's a water storage closer to my base, so I don't have to run across my entire base to get water. And the last thing we're going to cover today is placing Y connectors. The most important thing to note about Y connectors is it splits whatever water's going into it by half. So even though one of these will have a closed valve and the other won't, it is still going to put 247 to each because that's just the way that this system works. Stay tuned for our next video where we're going to talk about farming and irrigation, and you're going to see that Y connector we just placed be used in that video. Alright, so from Off Duty Gaming, that is it. It really means a lot that you chose to spend your time here with us. If you did enjoy the content, hit the sub button, drop a comment letting us know what you want to see next.